The phone slipped from my trembling hands, clattering onto the hardwood floor of my tiny Brooklyn apartment. My heart stopped as the screen glared back at me. The sent message glowing like a neon sign, a photo. That photo, now irreversibly delivered to Ethan. I, Jamie Carter, had just accidentally sent a naked selfie to my straight best friend of 10 years, and there was no undoing it. I sank onto the couch, my pulse hammering in my ears. It was a mistake. A stupid, careless tap on the wrong contact while trying to send the photo to a guy I'd been flirting with on a dating app. Ethan broad-shouldered, flannel-wearing, grease-stained Ethan, who fixed cars and cracked bad jokes, wasn't supposed to see me like that. He was my rock, the guy who'd been there through my coming out, my parents' rejection, and every heartbreak since high school. But this could ruin everything. The phone buzzed, and my stomach lurched. His name flashed on the screen. I couldn't look. I could not look. With a shaky breath, I opened the message. His reply was 3 words: "We need to talk." No anger, no disgust, just those words, heavy with meaning I couldn't decipher. I stared at them, my mind spiraling. Was he mad? Disgusted? Or, God forbid, curious? The uncertainty clawed at me as I typed a frantic apology, my fingers slipping over the keys. "I'm so sorry, Ethan. It was an accident. Please don't hate me." Minutes passed, each one an eternity. I paced the apartment, the city's hum filtering through the open window, taxis honking, distant laughter from a bar downstairs. My life felt like it was teetering on the edge of a cliff. Ethan wasn't just my friend. He was family, the one person who made me feel like I belonged in a world that often told me I didn't. Growing up queer in a small Ohio town hadn't been easy. Whispers at school, my dad's cold silence when I came out at 17. Ethan had been the one to pull me through, sneaking me into his garage to talk late into the night, promising I'd find my place someday. And I had, here in New York, painting murals for coffee shops and scraping by. But now, one dumb mistake threatened to unravel it all. My phone buzzed again. Another message: "I'm coming over. Stay put." My heart sank. Ethan lived in Queens, a good 40 minutes away. If he was dropping everything to come here, this was serious. I tried to distract myself, flipping through my sketchbook, but the half-finished portraits of strangers mocked me. I couldn't focus. All I could think about was Ethan's face when he saw that photo, his warm hazel eyes, usually crinkled with a smile, now maybe clouded with shock or worse. The knock on my door came too soon. I froze, staring at the chipped paint, willing my legs to move. "Jamie, it's me," Ethan's voice called, steady but urgent. I opened the door, and there he was, 6 feet of him, in a faded denim jacket, his dark hair messy from the subway ride. His expression was unreadable, a mix of concern and something else I couldn't place. "You okay?" he asked, stepping inside without waiting for an answer. "I'm so sorry," I blurted, my voice cracking. "It was a mistake. I swear. I didn't mean to. Jamie, stop." He held up a hand, his tone gentle but firm. "I'm not mad. I need to understand what's going on with you." He sat on my couch, patting the cushion beside him. I hesitated, then sat, keeping a safe distance. The air felt thick, charged with unspoken questions. I was trying to send it to someone else, I admitted, my face burning. "This guy? Alex. From an app. I hit your name by accident." "I'd never got. Ethan, I'd never do that to you on purpose." He nodded, his gaze steady. "I know." But when I saw it, he paused, rubbing the back of his neck, a nervous habit I knew well. It made me think. About you. About us. My breath caught. Us. The word felt foreign. Dangerous. Ethan was straight, always had been. He'd dated girls. Talked about crushes. Never given me a hint otherwise. But the way he was looking at me now, his eyes searching mine, felt different. It felt like the start of something I couldn't name. I've been thinking about you a lot lately, he said, his voice low. Not just because of the photo. Before that. You're important to me, Jamie. More than I realized. He leaned closer, and my heart thudded so loud I was sure he could hear it. I don't know what this means yet, but I'm not running away from it. I stared at him, my mind a whirlwind. Was he saying what I thought he was saying? Or was I reading too much into his words, desperate for something I'd secretly wanted for years? I'd buried my feelings for Ethan long ago, convinced they were one-sided. Impossible. But now, with his eyes locked on mine, the impossible felt dangerously close. Ethan, you don't have to, I started. But he cut me off. I want to, he said, his voice steady now. I want to figure this out. With you. The room seemed to shrink, the city noise fading until it was just us. Two friends on the edge of something new, terrifying, and beautiful. I didn't know what came next, but for the first time in years, I felt a spark of hope that maybe, just maybe, my mistake wasn't a disaster but a door to something more. The silence stretched between us, heavy with possibility. Ethan's words hung in the air, I want to figure this out. With you. And I couldn't tell if I was dreaming or drowning. My Brooklyn apartment, with its peeling wallpaper and mismatched furniture, felt like a stage where the script of our friendship was being rewritten. Figure what out? I finally asked, my voice barely above a whisper. I needed him to say it, to make it real or shatter the illusion before I let myself hope too much. Ethan shifted, his knee brushing mine, sending a jolt through me. I don't know exactly, he admitted, his hazel eyes flickering with uncertainty but not retreating. When I saw that photo, I wasn't grossed out. I was confused. Yeah, but also curious. About you. About what it means that I wasn't just okay with it. He laughed, a nervous sound. I'm not making sense, am I? You're making more sense than you think, I said, my heart racing. I wanted to reach for him, to bridge the gap between us, but fear held me back. Ethan was my safe place, the one constant in a life full of chaos. If we crossed this line, there was no going back. But you're straight, Ethan. You've always been straight. Maybe, he said, his voice soft but firm. Or maybe I've just never questioned it before. You've always been there, Jamie, through everything. My parents' divorce, my sister's cancer scare, the shop almost going under. You're the one I turn to. And lately, I've been wondering why it feels different. I swallowed hard, my throat tight. Different how? He looked away, staring at the city lights twinkling beyond my window. Like I'm jealous when you talk about guys you're dating. Like I want to be the one you're texting at 2 a.m. Not some random dude from an app. He turned back to me, his expression raw. I don't know what I'm feeling, but I know it's real. And I know it's about you. My chest ached with the weight of his words. I'd spent years burying my crush on Ethan, convincing myself it was a fantasy. I'd watched him date girls like Sarah, the bubbly barista, or Mia, the yoga instructor, and told myself I was happy just being his friend. But now, with him sitting so close, his confession cracked open a part of me I'd locked away. I've liked you for years, I admitted, the words spilling out before I could stop them. But I never said anything because I didn't want to lose you. You're my best friend, Ethan. I can't risk that. You're not losing me, he said fiercely, grabbing my hand. His touch was warm, steady, grounding me in a moment that felt surreal. I'm scared too. Okay. I've never felt this for a guy. But I'm here. I'm not running. We sat there, hands clasped, the air electric with unspoken promises. I wanted to believe him, but doubt gnawed at me. What if this was just a fleeting curiosity for him? What if he woke up tomorrow and realized he'd made a mistake? I'd seen too many straight guy experiments crash and burn on the apps, leaving heartbreak in their wake. Ethan, I need you to be sure, I said, pulling my hand back. This isn't just about you figuring yourself out. It's about me too. I've been hurt before by guys who thought they could handle this and then bailed when it got real. His face softened, but there was a fire in his eyes. I'm not them. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I care about you. Let's take it slow. Figure it out together. No pressure. No labels, just us. I nodded, my heart caught between fear and hope. Okay. Slow. The next few weeks were a blur of tentative steps and charged moments. Ethan started coming over more, not just to hang out, but to be with me. We'd watch old sci-fi movies, our shoulders brushing on the couch, or grab coffee at the corner diner, our conversations dancing around the edges of something deeper. He'd text me late at night, not about car parts or bar plans, but about his fears, his dreams, things he'd never shared before. I felt him opening up, letting me in, and it was exhilarating and terrifying. One night, we walked through Prospect Park, the autumn leaves crunching under our feet. The air was crisp, the city alive around us. Ethan stopped by a bench, his breath visible in the cool air. I told my sister about you, he said suddenly. About us. I froze. What did you say? That I'm figuring things out. That you're important to me. He shoved his hands in his pockets, a shy smile breaking through. She said she's never seen me talk about anyone like this. Not even Mia. I laughed, a mix of relief and disbelief. And what did you tell her? That I'm happy when I'm with you. He stepped closer, his voice low. Happier than I've been in a long time. My heart soared, but the weight of reality pressed in. Ethan was exploring something new, but I was already all in. I'd been out for years, navigating a world that wasn't always kind to people like me. Ethan was just starting that journey, and I couldn't shake the fear that he might not be ready for what came next. The city seemed to hum with our secret, a rhythm pulsing through every stolen glance and lingering touch. Ethan and I were dancing on a tightrope, balancing between friendship and something more, each step riskier than the last. But the more time we spent together, the harder it was to pretend this was just an experiment. One evening, we ended up at a dive bar in Williamsburg, the kind with sticky floors and neon signs flickering in the windows. Ethan was telling a story about a customer at his auto shop, his hands animated, his laugh infectious. I watched him, my chest tight with affection. He caught my gaze and grinned, leaning closer over the table. What's that look for? You're ridiculous, I said, but my smile betrayed me. I just like watching you. His grin softened, and for a moment, the bar's noise faded. I like watching you too, Jamie. His hand brushed mine under the table, a small gesture that felt monumental. We weren't official, not yet, but these moments quiet, intimate, were building something real. But reality has a way of crashing in. The next day, I got a call from my mom. I hadn't spoken to her in months, not since our last fight about my lifestyle. Her voice was cold, formal, like she was reading a script. Your cousin's getting married in Ohio next month. You're invited, but they prefer if you didn't bring anyone. The word stung, a reminder of the rejection I'd faced since coming out. I wanted to tell her about Ethan, to say I'd found someone who made me feel whole, but I knew she wouldn't understand. I'll think about it, I said, hanging up before she could say more. Ethan noticed my mood when he came over that night. What's wrong? He asked, setting down a bag of takeout from our favorite Thai place. I told him about the call, the wedding, the unspoken rule that I couldn't bring a partner. His jaw tightened, and he sat beside me, close enough that our thighs touched. That's bullshit, he said, his voice low. You shouldn't have to hide who you are. I'm used to it, I said, but the words felt hollow. It's just how my family is. Well, it's not how I am. He turned to face me, his eyes fierce. If you go, I'm going with you. As your date, your friend, whatever you need. They don't get to make you feel small. My heart swelled, but fear crept in. Ethan, you don't know what it's like. The stares, the whispers. I've dealt with it my whole life. But you, I can handle it. He interrupted. I'm not letting you face that alone. I wanted to believe him, but doubt lingered. Ethan was new to this world, to the weight of judgment that came with being openly queer. I'd faced it in Ohio, in New York, even on the apps, guys who ghosted after one date, friends who drifted away. Ethan was different. But what if this was too much? Too soon? A week later, we took a step forward. Ethan invited me to his auto shop after hours, a place that smelled of oil and metal, where he felt most at home. He'd been working on a vintage Mustang, his pride and joy. I want you to see this, he said, leading me to the car. Under the fluorescent lights, he looked nervous, almost shy. He opened the passenger door, revealing a small sketchbook on the Seat Me sketchbook, one I'd left at his place weeks ago. Inside, he'd added something, a clumsy but heartfelt drawing of us, stick figures holding hands under a starry sky. I'm not an artist like you, he said, blushing. But I wanted you to know, I'm in this. Tears pricked my eyes. It wasn't just the drawing. It was what it meant. Ethan was trying, in his own way, to show me he wasn't going anywhere. I hugged him, my face pressed against his shoulder, breathing in the familiar scent of motor oil and soap. Thank you, I whispered. But the world wasn't as kind as that moment. The next day, I overheard a conversation at the coffee shop where I was painting a mural. Two regulars, older guys who always tipped well, were talking about the gays taking over the neighborhood. Their words weren't directed at me, but they cut deep, a reminder of the hostility that lingered just beneath the surface. I wondered if Ethan was ready for that, for the reality of being with me. That night, I confronted him. We were on my fire escape, the city sprawling below us, a bottle of cheap wine between us. Ethan, this isn't just about us, I said. If we do this, you're stepping into my world. It's not always safe. It's not always kind. He looked at me, his expression steady. I know it's not easy, Jamie. But I'm not here for easy. I'm here for you. His words were a lifeline, but I couldn't shake the fear that we were moving too fast, that the world would test us before we were ready. The decision to go to my cousin's wedding together felt like a leap into the unknown. Ethan insisted on driving us to Ohio, his beat-up pickup truck rattling along the interstate as we left New York's skyline behind. The closer we got to my hometown, the tighter my chest felt. Ethan reached for my hand, his calloused fingers steadying me. "We've got this," he said, his voice a quiet anchor. But Ohio was a different world. My hometown, with its single stoplight and rows of modest houses, hadn't changed much since I'd left. The wedding was at a local church, the kind where everyone knew everyone's secret sir thought they did. Walking in with Ethan, his arm brushing mine, felt like walking into a lion's den. Heads turned. Whispers followed. My mom's eyes widened when she saw us, her lips pressing into a thin line. "Jamie," she said, her voice clipped. "You brought a friend." "This is Ethan," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "My date." The word hung in the air. A challenge. Ethan squeezed my hand, his presence a shield against the stairs. My cousin, Emily, was kinder, hugging me tightly and whispering, "I'm glad you're here." But the rest of the family kept their distance, their politeness laced with judgment. During the reception, Ethan stayed by my side, charming my younger cousins with stories about fixing cars and sneaking me glances that made my heart race. But I saw the tension in his jaw, the way he scanned the room, ready to defend me. When my uncle made a snide comment about city boys, Ethan's hand tightened on his beer bottle, but he kept his cool, redirecting the conversation with a joke. Later, we slipped outside, the night air cool against our skin. "You okay?" I asked, searching his face. He nodded, but his eyes were distant. "I didn't realize how hard this is for you," he said. "The way they look at you, it's not right." "It's what I've always known," I said, shrugging. "But it's harder with you here. I don't want you to get hurt." "I can take it," he said, stepping closer. "But I hate that you've had to deal with this alone." He cupped my face, his thumb brushing my cheek. "I'm not going anywhere, Jamie. I promise." His words were a balm, but the weekend wasn't over. The next day, at a family barbecue, things escalated. My dad, who'd barely spoken to me since I came out, cornered us in the backyard. "You're making a scene," he said, his voice low but sharp. "This isn't the place for whatever this is." Ethan stepped forward, his voice calm but unyielding. "With all due respect, sir, Jamie's not the one making a scene. He's just being himself. If that's a problem, it's not his." My dad's face reddened, but he backed off, muttering something about family values. I felt a mix of pride and fear, pride in Ethan's courage, fear that this was only the beginning. On the drive back to New York, we were quiet, the weight of the weekend settling between us. When we got back to my apartment, Ethan pulled me into a hug, his arms strong and sure. "I meant what I said," he murmured. "I'm not going anywhere." But the world kept testing us. A week later, Ethan got a call from his boss at the auto shop. A customer had seen us together at a diner, holding hands, and complained, threatening to take their business elsewhere. Ethan shrugged it off, but I saw the worry in his eyes. His shop was struggling, and he couldn't afford to lose clients. "I don't care about that guy," Ethan said when I brought it up. "I care about you." "But I care about you too," I countered. "I don't want to cost you your livelihood." "You're not," he said, his voice fierce. "This is my choice, Jamie. You're worth it." His words were everything, but they couldn't erase the reality we faced. The city, for all its diversity, wasn't always kind. We started noticing looks on the subway, overheard slurs at bars. Ethan took it in stride, but I could see it wearing on him, the constant need to prove himself, to stand up for us. I loved him for it, but I feared it would break him. One night, lying in my bed, his head on my chest, I asked the question that had been haunting me. Ethan, are you sure this is what you want? This life, with me? He looked up, his eyes clear. I've never been surer of anything. Winter settled over New York, blanketing the city in snow and possibility. Ethan and I were no longer just friends, we were partners, navigating a love that was as thrilling as it was fragile. The photo that had sparked this journey was a distant memory, replaced by moments that defined us, late-night talks, stolen kisses, the way his hand fit perfectly in mine. But the world didn't stop challenging us. Ethan's shop took a hit when another customer pulled out, citing personal differences. He didn't say it, but I knew it was because of us. I offered to step back, to give him space, but he refused. This is our life now, he said, his voice steady. I'm not hiding who I am or who we are. His courage inspired me, but it also scared me. I'd spent years building walls to protect myself, but Ethan was tearing them down, showing me what it meant to be fearless. One evening, we attended a local art show where one of my murals was featured. Ethan stood beside me, proud, introducing himself as my boyfriend to strangers without hesitation. The word felt like a gift, a declaration that warmed me against the February chill. But not everyone was ready to accept us. At the show, a gallery owner I'd worked with before pulled me aside. Jamie, your work's great, but maybe tone down the personal stuff, he said, glancing at Ethan. Clients get weird about it. I felt the familiar sting of rejection, but Ethan's hand on my shoulder steadied me. His art's about who he is, Ethan said, his voice calm but firm. If they can't handle that, they don't deserve it. The gallery owner backed off, but the incident lingered. That night, over pizza in my apartment, I voiced the fear I'd been carrying. What if this cost you everything? Ethan. Your shop, your family, your life. He set down his slice, his eyes locked on mine. You are my life, Jamie. The shop, my family, will figure it out. But you're non-negotiable. Tears welled up, and I didn't fight them. For the first time, I let myself believe we could make it not just survive, but thrive. We started building a life together, small but meaningful steps. Ethan moved some of his things into my apartment, his toolbox sitting beside my easel, a symbol of our worlds merging. We cooked dinners, argued over movie choices, and dreamed about a future where we didn't have to fight for our place. The turning point came in spring. Ethan's sister, Lily, invited us to her birthday party in Queens. I was nervous, but Lily greeted us with hugs, introducing us as Ethan and his boyfriend, Jamie. Her friends were warm, curious, accepting. For the first time, I felt like I belonged, not just with Ethan, but with the people he loved. Later, Lily pulled me aside. You make him happy, she said. I've never seen him like this. Her words stayed with me, a reminder that our love wasn't just ours, it was changing the people around us, too. Ethan's shop started to recover, thanks to new clients who didn't care about our relationship. My art career picked up, with commissions from people who saw my murals and wanted more. We were building something, not just for us, but for others who needed to see that love could win. One evening, as we walked along the Brooklyn Bridge, the city sparkling below, Ethan stopped and pulled me close. I love you, Jamie, he said, his voice steady. Sure. I didn't know this was what I wanted, but now I can't imagine anything else. I love you too, I said, my voice breaking. We kissed, the world fading away. Just us and the city that had witnessed our journey. That accidental photo, once a moment of panic, had become the spark that changed everything. It hadn't just revealed my body, it had revealed my heart. And Ethan's, too. Our story wasn't perfect. There were still challenges, family tensions, societal judgment, the everyday struggles of life in a chaotic city. But we faced them together, hand in hand, knowing that love, real love, was worth every fight. Ethan's reply to that photo hadn't just changed our lives, it had given us a new one, built on courage, acceptance, and the unbreakable bond we'd found in each other.